All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushua, Bahashim, Rakakudash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, the great millstone that taught us this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you, I can push this truth and sincerity over the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions to feed and edify the elect. All right, so we out here once again with another weekly edification, letting you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans know you are the children of Israel according to the scriptures, all right, according to prophecies, man. All right, and again, as we always come out week in and week out and tell you about the importance of prophecies, man. All right, this is where you need to, keep your foundation in. As the scriptures say, the spirit of Yahushua is a spirit of prophecy. All right, so hey, going into these things, man, this is the foundational point. It's funny, I watched a couple of these here channels, and again, these are non-Israelites or they don't know that they're Israelites, put it that way, but they have a quote-unquote biblical somewhat background. They'll say certain things based off of biblical things here or there. Not to say that they're not Israelites. They're not claiming to be Israelites. They're not claiming to know anything about that. These would be your normal base level quote unquote Christians that you would see, right? But nevertheless, they go into these news articles and things like that and watching the news and speak about these things. But one of the major things that they miss, all right, is what the scriptures say. Now they'll openly talk about how they believe in the Bible, they believe in certain prophecies and things like that. The big major ones that the people in church know about, the rapture and Armageddon and things like that, as they know it from their perspective, right? But hey, once you understand, like let's just say for instance the rapture, we say a lot of the times there's no such thing as the rapture, and you have to understand the context of what we're speaking about. All right, we're speaking of in the context of what these Christians are telling you about. All right, because the scripture tell you that the Lord's going to call his elect from the four corners of the earth. All right, not the church, not these so-called people who believe in Christianity and things like that from that perspective, right? Yeah, these people are going to be believing on the Lord. It's going to get raptured up, but the one thing they're going to all have in common is they're going to all be Israelites. Put it that way, first and foremost. All right, that's the first caveat, right? So when they speak about it, they don't talk about those things, man. Another thing on that they speak about is they have a divide in them, whether it's post or pre-tribulation raptures. So they go back and forth on these things. In fact, the channel that I'm thinking about, talking about this, they was actually going into that the other day amidst their normal broadcast. Again, this is a news broadcasting channel and stuff like that on YouTube, right? And they talk about these different things, and you can see that they're how do I put it? They're, for lack of a better term, their congregation. Because again, this is not a Christian channel where they push out Christian narratives and things like that. All right, it's more or less of a news channel, right, where they go into news articles and things like that. And the people that just so happen to be in this here group happen to all be quote unquote, or most of them happen to be Christians, right? But going in, let me just read this verse real quick. And this is Revelation chapter 19, to kind of show you the importance of these things, man. All right, in which we always stress week in and week out, because it's easy to get fooled over some of these things that's going off. All right, it's easy. You have in the past a lot of these cults and things like that that'll go out and they'll have groups of people, these end of the world cults, more or less to say, right? And they'll believe in the end of the world and they'll see certain things pop off, and then they'll immediately just jump into, hey, let's take the lives of our congregation. Hey, it's the end of the world. We all got to drink the Kool-Aid and we're going to all die off, right? And it'll be based off of something that we've seen these things happen. Jim Jones and, Jonestown and things like that. Now, granted, I'd have to look further and do some real investigation into that, whether or not he just wanted to kill off his people, or if they was, just being led astray. They was off and thinking that things was going to happen, and then, hey, they just went and jumped off the cliffs, right? Not, metaphorically speaking, they drank the Kool-Aid actually out there. But just like in the pandemic, when the pandemic started, you have some of these people that believe that, the end of the world and things like that are coming, and they think that that's the trigger. Oh, it's all over with now, man. All right, but yet and still, the important thing is what? Measuring the time diligently in itself based off of what? The signs that was told to you before, all right, which are the prophecies, man. All right, they all have to fall in certain order. So you're not going to get one thing. Just like this, man. All right, a woman is not going to go into labor until what? The sign of her water breaking comes first. All right, you're not going to have a woman that, oh, yeah, the baby I didn't had the baby, but then the water breaks after the fact, Now, granted, I'm not a woman or a doctor. They may have some cases like that, but you get the example of what I'm trying to give you. All right, you got to, you're not going to have a chicken fucking hatch an egg first, or the baby chicken come out of the egg before the hen lays the egg. There's a process. The hen has to lay the egg first. The man has to, there's a process to all this stuff, man. All right, so hey, understanding these things, you'll understand, how to measure the time diligently and where and how we are. All right. This is Revelation 19 and in verse 11 or verse 10. It says, "And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See that thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahushua. Worship the Most High, for the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy." So going back into some of these channels that I watch and look at, for news purposes, to see what's going on in the news. You got channels like Redacted. That's a husband and wife couple that I believe Clayton, the guy on there. Clayton used to be a news anchor. I forgot which channel was it, MSNBC or one of those channels. He used to be a news anchor on there, and whatever happened, right? You get news from them that's unbiased. Not to say unbiased, because all news, I guess you could say, is biased. Even when we speak of from a biased standpoint, right? We talk about the fall of Babylon the Great. Well, technically, from these people's perspective, yeah, we citizens of Babylon, motherfucker. We shouldn't be talking about this or that. So we have our own bias because we, as Israelites, especially of the hopeful elect, we want to see our captives go down. We want to be freed up out of this bad boy, so we don't have the same investment, all right, as the people that are upholding this here kingdom, right? So we're gonna look at this from a biased perspective, right? When Babylon the Great falls, we're gonna be rejoicing. They're gonna be sad and sorrowful. So yeah, when we see certain things, like Russia mounting up, all these other nations coming up against Babylon the Great, her allies turning on her, we rejoice at these things. So we're going to have a biased perspective versus them. So everybody's going to be a little biased. But as far as feeding the line and the narratives that the news is pushing forth, that deception, a lot of these channels, they don't have that. That's, they just, no, man. Like the scripture said, let me read this precept first. Or actually, I read the other one already. But let me read this precept to go into that. This is Psalms. Let me see if I can find it. I want to say Psalm 64 and 8. If not, we'll look it up. Psalm 64. Is it 64? Yeah. I mean, we could read all of this, but Psalm 64, we'll read it all, but I want to hit verse 8 first. All right, Psalm 64 and verse 8, it says, so that they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, and all that see them shall flee away. And going into these channels that I'm speaking of, right? I'm not sure what these people's backgrounds are. I'm not going too far into their family lineage and everything else like that. But as far as on screen and what they speak and how they speak as if they're Edomites, man. And not in we putting everybody in subjection. They just not speaking as like, objectively like, damn, the so-called white man doing this, the so-called white man doing that. They're not speaking from those kind of perspectives. They look at themselves as Americans, so-called white folks and everything else like that. And they just so happen to be here, whether or not they're with the system or not with the system, right? Falling in the line, it says, so that they shall make their own tongue. So they're speaking against their own selves from their perspective of, hey, we're Americans too, right? But, when we speak to them, like, but y'all Edomites as well too, man. So even if y'all are over here exposing yourself, exposing Esau and everything else, you don't really get, like, salvation for that, man. Like, you just fulfilling a prophecy, man, and making your own tongue fall upon yourself, man. So, going into all that and watching these here channels and things like that, all right, hey, these Edomites are fulfilling prophecy as far as exposing themselves, man. All right, letting the cats out the bag, because you can watch these mainstream media news and outlets, and then what? They keep you preoccupied, keep you distracted, watching and listening to stories that have nothing to do with anything, man. All right, you have all these different things like the submarine situation, man. You have all these people that was talking about the sub and everything else like that was going on all the news channels. Meanwhile, financial decisions was being changed behind the scenes. All right, Biden's situation was court documents was going on behind the scenes and everything else like that. Emails was being deleted. Your Epstein's and things like that was all deleted. But then again, hey, when you go into all that stuff, that's all distractions as well too. All right, as they're getting further and further, making different moves, which is going to bring forth what? The MOTB, which is going to bring forth this here new beast system, man. All right, which is going to bring forth, ultimately the end of Esau's kingdom, man. See, he thinks he's about to solidify his kingdom up on top, man, consolidating power and everything else like that. But in reality, he's about to lose it all, man. All right, when he's about, like the scripture said, when he's about to fill his belly, then the Most High shall rain it upon him while he is eating. All right, and again, going into measuring the time diligently and knowing where you are, man, when he's about to fill his belly. We see where Esau is right now. We see how close we are to the end. All right, we see all these different things, 3, 4, 5 years ago. I don't even know how long it has been now, but back some years back, people was looking at this shit like, yo, what's going on? Y'all talking all this stuff, and we don't see none of this stuff going on, but everything that they laughed and scoffed at us about is all here in your face. All you got to do is turn on the mainstream media news now. All right, they're not hiding it. From the USSR, right? Look at what Russia's actually doing. Now, they don't call it the USSR no more, but guess what? Now, if you go through the history of it all, you had the USSR. What was that? A conglomeration of nations, right? Then you had that fail. Then you had what the country was then called what? Russia, right? Now, technically, when you be talking about certain things nowadays, like the official name of it over there is what? The Russian Federation. All right, going back into that USSR conglomeration of nations, man. All right, they over there with their unofficial, you know, they're not one nation anymore, but they're one nation again, man. All right, like let's say for instance, like Belarus and stuff like that, man. These nations are, they would say that they're puppets of Russia, but hey, that's all, you know. Back in the olden days, that was all one country, man. All right, you know, it was all one big, you know, the USSR basically. So now, like the scriptures say, those hooks being put into the jaws, bringing it back to that old state. This is what's going on right before our eyes, man. But back then when we first told you about that, showing you the missiles with the USSR, people laughed at us. Bro, they ain't the USSR. Nigga, you like 2-3 decades behind time, man. But your Ben sound bad. You might need to get that shit fixed. But anyway, going back into, you know, the things that we spoke about beforehand, and now they all coming to pass, right? You can go into, like I said, the USSR thing, the nukes, man. All right, all the nukes don't exist, this, that. Hey, man, they over here advancing weaponry left and right, yet and people still are saying, something as old as, like, the nuclear technology don't fucking exist. Like, nigga, do y'all realize, like if you understand how nukes work and everything, the nuclear bomb works, it's really, you have two things, fission or fusion. You either merging something together, you breaking something apart, an atom apart. You either merging two atoms together, you taking them apart. Now, we have devices that do this all damn day long with different atoms and different elements and things like that, man. And your everyday, you know, you can build one of these shits at home, man. All right, it's called electrosis, man, which I believe in electrosis is fission, I believe, which is breaking two cells apart, man. All right, you know, you can take, you know, you can make you a, what they call them shits, a hydrogen machine. In fact, I ain't gonna tell you how to make one of these shits, but nevertheless, you know, and it's not nothing dangerous or bombs and stuff like that. We use these things in everyday things throughout life, right? You know what I'm saying? And you wouldn't really know about it, right? Let's say, for instance, to give you one that's like, you can go to the store and go buy one of these machines to do all this shit, but it's not named that, right? You can go, if you have a swimming pool and you have a salt pool, right? They have what they call a salt cell. Inside this salt cell is basically electrosis, right? You got a positive and a negative. You can make you one of these again, like I said, and get you a wall plug, find the positive side, find the negative side, put some little clips on there, and then connect it to whatever the hell you're trying to, you know, get the bonds off of. Let's say you put it onto some metal like a nail or something like that, and put that shit in some water. It's gonna separate that, you know, water is what? Oxygen and hydrogen. H2O, 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. All right, and what you're gonna be left with is the hydrogen. All right, and the oxygen is gonna be taken up out of the water. This is how you make if you make it big enough, obviously you can make a hydrogen bomb, but it's combustible. When people have these what they call hydrogen-driven engines in their cars, you can look this shit up. Where people be driving cars off of engine or off of water, right? That's what they're using. They're using one of these machines to do that. Going back to the swimming pools and the salt cells, it's the same machine, man. All right, but what they're doing is taking the salt, sodium chloride, and breaking that bond apart. All right, you're left with chlorine. All right, so I mean they have these devices. So anyway, going to say all that to say this, you know, with that people who not believing in nukes and everything else like that, like, bro, all they gotta do is use a different type of atom or element, and then shit can be combustible. Right? You don't realize how combustible fucking water is, man. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, take the oxygen out of the hydrogen, and you got a fucking hydrogen bomb. If you set it on fire, you know what I'm saying? Light that bitch on fire, it'll combust. Right? It's hydrogen engines. But hey, Esau's had this technology for a while. I don't understand why people are lost in the sauce about these things, man. Oh, they ain't got this, they ain't got that. They don't have the technology for this, man. All right, the nanobots, the robots, putting nanotechnology inside of people. People don't believe these things, but what's on the mainstream media news? What are they telling you about nowadays, man? I remember coming out and tell you about what they call Morgellons disease. So what they called it before was not a real disease to begin with anyway, man. Or this programmable nanotechnology that they're putting inside of you, man. Now, when we talk about these tequila shots and the mRNA, when you look up what that shit is, it tell you it's an operating system, man. All right, so look, we've been telling you all these things before they came to pass, man. All right, prophesying about all these things before they came to pass. But yet and still, hey, even though they're going to know that a prophet have been among them, but you're going to still have some of the wicked that's going to keep going, and they're not going to repent, neither are they going to be sorrowful. All right, but again, we told you about the nukes. Now you're seeing all this here weaponry and this technology coming out. All right, more and more AI fighter jets. They done been had AI fighter jets. They just not really telling you about the shit. You know what I'm saying? But when they came out with the new, I believe it was called the J3 or whatever the fuck the Chinese plane was. They shit is AI enabled. Russia had a plane that they came out with. I think it was the Su-57 was their compatible plane to the F-35, right? They all came out with what is it, the sixth generation fighter jet. The Su-57 was Russia's version of that. Now they have the Su-75, which is basically the same plane, but AI enabled, right? So we have all this here stuff, man. They're preparing for what? As the scriptures say, there was a war in heaven, and Michael and his angels fought against the devil and his angels. All right, hey, the Lord is putting the like also in 2 Esdras 13, they were afraid but durst fight. So hey man, when you start seeing chariots and things like this, hey man, think about Esau from his perspective. He knows what's all popping off, man. Yeah, we're gonna be fighting against the Lord, the space program. They're gonna see some shit that they gonna be. You would be afraid if you fighting somebody like in a video game or in these little cartoon movies or animes or whatever the fuck you fighting, right? Imagine you fighting somebody. Let me think of a nigga from who was that? One of the Matrix movies where they had the twins, right, with the blonde hair and shit. You trying to fight this nigga? He go over here, boom, boom. Or Goku, you go to swing on him right here, and he didn't. What they call instant transmission behind you and shit like that, you know, or the nigga hit. Every time you try to make a move, he didn't imitate it all. You can't get around none of this stuff, man. So you know, if you think about this in real life, man, right? You over here flying an airplane in a fighter jet, you chasing down this airplane, another fighter jet, and all of a sudden it just disappear and reappear behind your ass, man. Right? You shoot a missile at it, and then all of a sudden it didn't redirect it behind your ass. Now you running from the missile you shot, man. All right? You see one plane and turn to 5 different planes, you gonna be afraid, man. Right? So this is the technology that that you know Esau is preparing their fighter jets for, man. Hey, look, man, they gonna be afraid and everything. We're gonna have to override this here shit, man. We're gonna have to be able to send them into some shit to where they gonna be, you know, not emotionally phased by these things. Look at these killer robots that they're making and everything else like that. Human beings have some kind of conscience, man. Oh yeah, you know, because when the government comes down and say, hey, these are the enemies, it's not gonna be off of a moral or immoral. Oh, these guys are the bad guys because they was out here raping children. No, they're gonna be like, these guys are the bad guys because they believe in the scriptures, man. They're followers of the Lord. They trying to upkeep that. We trying to get that up out of here. So it's gonna be, you know, those are the extreme levels. You know, as we see nowadays. Hey, when they told you about that tequila shot, if you didn't want to take the tequila shot, hey, you was the enemy of the state at that point in time. So it's really of and then now look, they don't even mandate those things now. To show you the point that it's not what's right and what's wrong, is what they say, right? You know, it's against whatever they're talking about. And whatever they're talking about is not necessarily what's right or what's wrong or what's more beneficial to people as a whole. It's more what's beneficial to them. So in this here sense, man, when these things are implemented, you know, you're going to have some soldiers like, yo, bro, this is a wicked law. We're not going to enforce this. We're going to band together. We're going to overthrow our government and things. But guess what the solution to that is? How about we get us a robot army? How about, matter of fact, something I just started watching not too long ago was the Star Wars series. I had never watched Star Wars before, but that's a good situation to start watching to see how some of these things go. But one of the early things that they wound up doing now, if you've ever seen anything about Star Wars, those little dudes just walking around in little white suits and stuff, right? Like the opposite of Darth Vader, he got a black suit on, but these all dudes got on these white suits. Now with those things, from the very beginning, basically you got to watch it. It's like a federation in space and armies and shit. You got all these different galaxies and planets and shit, and they all got their militaries, and they all trying to come together as one to protect themselves from all this different shit. So they need to have a what they call a galactic army. So with the galactic army, what they wind up doing is creating these clones, right? They create hundreds and hundreds of thousands of clones. So those things in those white suits, the majority of them is all robots. Now let's just say you have 100,000 of them, right? Out of 100,000 of them, 90,000 of them is robots and droids and clones and shit. 10,000 of them is actually human beings in there that's operating this here army, right? So, hey, you know what I mean? You have a small amount operating a larger amount, just sort of what? Hey, they can, like in one of the movies, one of the newer movies, they got this Jake in there, and he wound up rebelling from that. All right, he's like, you know what, I don't want this no more, or this is what we're doing is wrong and everything else like that. Now, from the powers that be that's ruling their army, they don't need dissidents like that. They don't need people jumping ship like that. So what do they want? Hey, we want more robots. When we program them, implement Order 75 or whatever, boom, they out here doing it, man. There's no questions asked. There's not like, oh, this is wicked. We over here killing men, women, and children, innocent folks. This is why they put forth all these robots in this here technology, man. All right, this is why they have all this here AI stuff coming forth, man. All right, and as we get closer and closer to the end, we see Esau ramping things up. All right, we see him about to fill his belly. Hey, man, I got my society. You know, beforehand, I got a lot of loyal followers that's going to follow all the rules we say. We're going to go out and march into people and do everything else. But look, you always got people that's going to spoil the plans, that's going to turn over or turn their backs on those folks and everything. But in this here time, they got robots that's going to do whatever they're programmed to do. All right, they only operate in that form or that fashion. Just like, let's say you have a DVD player, right? Or that's probably a bad example. Let's say you have a CD player, right? And the CD player is only programmed to read and play CDs, right? You go try to take your old Magnavox CD player and put a PlayStation game in that bitch. It's not gonna work. You go in there, you put a Xbox game in there. It's not gonna work. You put a DVD in there. It's not gonna work. Why? Because it's not programmed to do so. All right, it's only programmed to play CDs, man. All right, so in this serious sense, this is what these robots are gonna be like. But hey, we told you about all these things beforehand, man. All right, again, with the how you call it, USSR, the missiles, the technology that they got. All right, wars and rumors of wars. All right, the MOTB. That's what's coming right now. All right, you see these people that's putting these things together. You got I forgot what it was, Threads or whatever the shit is. The new shit that's coming out by I think Facebook. The new Apple like Oculus type thing. The augmented reality and all these different things, man. They're trying to put you into this here scenario, man. And you know they have the saying, you're gonna own nothing and you're gonna be happy. You're gonna love it, right? I would implore you to go watch these two movies. It's called Free Guy and Ready Player One. Right now, Free Guy shows you the perspective. It's basically the same movie, but you know from different perspectives. Free Guy, the nigga's already in the video game. He's part of the game himself. He's trying to realize, oh, these niggas is NPCs. And that's like the majority of the people that's out here, man. They all NPCs. They follow whatever's going on. They just running a program that they got going on. Did you guys see the sports game today? Did y'all see this? Did y'all see that? This is what we gonna do. Like, you see some of these people and it's like, yo, you're just running the fucking program. You go here, you go there, you eat, you sleep, you drink, you be married and given into marriage, man. Y'all, none of you all are seeking out the Lord. None of you guys are seeking out truth. None of you guys are seeking out the things that's going on around you, man. But yet and still, hey, man, these people are just going on, led to the slaughter as sheep, man. All right. And the other movie, Ready Player One. They're living in this time in this society where it's like the Matrix. They plug you into this here shit, man. The world is so bad and everything else like that. It's not worth living. So they plug you into this here fantasy world and you live into that. Hey, now look at social media, right? You have people these women and sometimes men too, got all these filters and everything. It's a lot of women nowadays don't ever take pictures without having filters on them bad boys, man. And then you actually see them like, you look nothing like this person that I done seen all these billions of pictures of you. You don't even look like this shit. Oh, because they would rather live in that social media world than in reality, man. You know, you see some folks that only post up pictures of them in exotic cars or nice places and everything, but you see them in real life, they gotta get a bus pass or some shit. But they would rather live in that little world. Some guys, you know, they'll rather live, and I've seen this happen before where Salakia. I've seen this before where some guys will live in a video game, right? Instead of living in the real world. You know, instead of, you know, we're playing NBA 2K and you dominating on that shit, but you won't go outside and actually play no real basketball. You the basketball champ, you talking all kind of shit, but you don't go out there and play no real basketball, man. All right, you get dominated out there, man. All right, so it's easier for you just to live inside the video game instead of creating real skill, man. You know, Grand Theft Auto, man. I got $1 trillion on Grand Theft Auto, but then you broke in real life. You know, you doing all this here, making money here and there, but you don't have no real money, man. So looking at all these different things, is people would rather live into a fake society, a fake world, something that's created to fit them, what will make them comfortable, man. So when we get to this point in time where Esau say, hey, look, man, you know, the world is all fucked up. You're not gonna be able to buy or sell safe. Either have that mark. What do you think the people gonna do? They're gonna wind up, you know what? If I can go ahead, hey, look, like the metaverse, man. Hey, own you some land in the metaverse, and inside the metaverse, you can make you some money in there. Make you some, look, you know, you don't really own shit out here in the real world, but hey, you get in the metaverse, you can open up a little bar in the metaverse. Then you can charge people to come into your bar, your nightclub in the metaverse, and you can make you some money off of that bitch. And it was like, okay, well, you know, and speaking of this in Grand Theft Auto, there was a scenario like that in Grand Theft Auto where they allowed you to buy nightclubs at a certain point in time. And you could so-called make money from other players coming into the nightclub and shit like that. It's like, okay, I see y'all little concept and everything else like that and how all this shit work. You feeling like you're a real club owner, making you some real money or some, not really the fake players coming in the club, like the NPCs, but actual other online players. Like, what the fuck, I'm finna try to get you to come in. You know, I see the concept, but then I see like real players like, bro, I'm over here playing the game doing what I gotta go do. What the hell I wanna go over there just walk in your nightclub and spend some money with you? It don't make no goddamn sense. Like, yeah, I see it, but it's not real. Oh, I'm about to go and throw a yacht party. Yeah, but it's not a real party. You see what I'm saying? So, hey, you see how these people are getting tuned into these things, man. And they're going to love it, man. They're going to accept all these different things. But we telling you, hey, man, nah, man. You know, this is Esau and his kingdom, which is going down and all these different things. And guess what they're going to look at us as? Oh, you guys are doom and gloomers. You guys don't want us to be happy and everything else like that. Who put you in this condition? It's Esau. But yet, like the scripture say, never trust thy enemy. Hey, our people going to walk right into this here trap, man. All right? And then wake up and realize that they don't own anything when you watch the movie The Matrix. Yeah, they all living in this nice little place. They all looking like they lavish and everything. But when you really unplug from the matrix, you see what they really are. They all plugged into the machine, man. They're using their actual energy to power this here machine while they're in a so-called sleep state the whole time, man. All right, they're giving them all this here dopamine hits and everything. So you mentally you feel like everything is going good, but in reality they're just sucking all your resources up out of you, your energy and things up out of you, man. All right. Let me go back into this Psalm 64 and I'm gonna start at the top and we're gonna read down because, hey man, these going back into the plans of the wicked, man. This is what they plan on doing to us, man. All right, and again, we've had times where we've told you about these things beforehand, prophesying and letting you know ahead of time. That's what a prophet does. All right, and most people will sit there and they laugh and they scoff at us, but guess what times we in right about now, man? As the scriptures speak about, we'll come back to this and we'll read this real quick. One of the most famous precepts. All right. Ooh. So famous that the page is all ripped out. Habakkuk 2:3 says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will come and not tarry." So hey, you know, so anyway, going back into that, hey man, this here vision is coming to pass, man. All the things we told you about, now it's all becoming a reality, man. All right, you know, we've been telling you about these digital currencies and things like that, and what Esau's trying to do. Now, you know, they came out with the Bitcoin and all these cryptocurrencies and got that on. Some people was looking at that, and now what? You have the governments creating these CBDCs and all these different things. We've been telling you about those scenarios, right? Now you see these new platforms for all this here stuff going out. Everything is going digital, man. But yet, still, you have some people still thinking, oh, they ain't gonna try to put no microchips in people. They ain't trying to do this. They're already doing this stuff, man. All right, and this is the way the future is going. And look at the technology, all right, that they're building that's being placed right there for these chips, man. All right, nowadays, damn near every new car that's coming out now, they have a key fob. They don't have actual keys to it, man. Meaning you hold that key fob, that's gonna be your authentication token. Like you get into a car with push button start without the keys and press the button, nothing gonna happen. But as long as that chip or that authentication token is somewhere nearby, it can read it and give you access to their vehicle, man. So once you have that inside of your hand, like, hey, can't nobody steal your car, can't nobody, because the problem with these things, problem, reaction, solution. Hey, those Hellcats and stuff, you know how they stealing them? They'll go over there with a key reprogrammer. All right, they get somewhere close to it with the Bluetooth or Wi-Fi that's on there. You know what I'm saying? They kind of pick it up and then copy that key digitally and go out there with the key code, and then they can just digitally put it on there. Problem, reaction, solution. Hey, there's a problem, man. People are still not digital keys. This is supposed to be safer for us, man. All right, but then, well, we got to put it inside of your hand now, right? Just like with the money and everything. Hey, man, people, hey, I got all this money in my pocket, my little sack, or under my bed. Somebody can just come in there and steal it, man. We got to go and put our money into the bank and then use a digital card so can't nobody, you know, steal it at that point in time, man. They don't have the technology to steal it. But then now they got the technology. You walk past somebody, they can do a card reader in your pocket, steal your whole account, man. Okay, now we got to put the technology. No, bro, look. You can walk past me with a card reader and scan my devices, and I thought that was safer. Actually, looking back, beforehand, you actually had to sit there and fight and tussle with me and get the wallet up out of my back pocket, man. I could see you and feel you at that point. That's, you know, way more noticeable and way more safer than the fact that you actually just walking up on me and trying to swipe my shit, man. All right? Salakia. But nevertheless, hey, man, all these things are coming forth, all right, at a rapid rate, man. Because we're at the end of this here thing, man. This is the end of Esau's kingdom. We've been prophesying these things to you from the beginning, all right? Now you're just seeing them come to pass, all right? Like the scripture we just read, hey, the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end, it shall speak and not lie. Right now, it's speaking loud and clear. It's not lying, man. All right, so now people are out here scrambling, trying to figure out what to do. Hey, but you have a famine of the word that's about to come upon the earth, man. All right, the scripture say you're going to be running to and fro looking for the truth, but you're not going to be able to find it. All right, why is that? Because they're going to have a censorship on these type of topics, these types of things and everything else like that. Just like with the how you want to call it, the Crown Royale, right? Now, at that point in time, right, when we were speaking about those things, they kept cutting our videos down and taking our videos down and everything else like that. Now, they actually allow you to talk about it. Certain channels, they allow you to talk about it, man. And they don't, sometimes they'll shadow ban you, sometimes they won't. But for the most part, they're saying, oh, you know what, we fucked up. We shouldn't have blocked all these people from saying these things, but now you can talk about it. But, hey, the action has already been done. They've already ran their plan. They wanted to go ahead and give you the tequila shot, man. Who gives a fuck if they tell you the truth about it now? You already got it. Or you already signed on the dotted line, right? But, hey, we know what's actually coming. Because of the fact that the truth wasn't out there, or the truth was out there, but because the truth was censored, you had some people that didn't know what to do. As the scripture say in Isaiah, what is that? Isaiah 19, or woe to them that go down into Egypt, or that's Isaiah 30. Woe to them that go down to Egypt and have not asked in my mouth to cover with the covering, but not of my spirit. All right, this is what Jake do. Hey, boy, what kind of shit going on over here with this alarm? But nevertheless, yeah, this Babylon the Great, man. You know what I'm saying? And in reality, hey, that's just in the spirit, man. Blowing the trumpet, right? It's getting to the point where it's getting annoying. This is how we are, man. Blowing the prophetic trumpets so much more that people are getting annoyed by it, man. But guess what? Don't mean that there ain't nothing going on over there. I can tell you right now, hey, something going on over there, man. Because that car alarm is going off and it's turning off, turning back on, turning off. Something is going on over there, man. That car's being, quote unquote, aggravated or agitated, all right, being messed with. Hey, that alarm don't just go off for nothing, right? There's cars right here. All right, these alarms ain't going off. I can see them. Ain't nothing going wrong with these cars. But that one over there, hey, listen to the trumpet that's being blown, man. You know, but yet and still, hey, you know, they're going to keep going on, you know, for entertainment purposes. But at the end, they're going to know that a prophet had been among them. Just like, let's just say over there, right? Let's say if I knew that was my car alarm was going off, like, damn, what's going on with that car alarm? Now, then I go back over there and I see my windows all busted out, the radio all taken out. Then you're going to know that a prophet been among you. The car alarm was going off for a reason. They don't put these things on there for you just to have a car alarm. It's there to alert you if something's going wrong, right? So the same with the prophets, man. The prophets were sent forth to give you this here warning, to warn my people. All right, let's go ahead and read that real quick and come back to Psalm 64. This is Ezekiel 37. Oh. Not 37. This is Ezekiel, where do I want to read this at? We can read this real quick. Ezekiel 37 and let me read verse 9. It says, Ezekiel 37 and 9, it says, then said he unto me, prophesy and say unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus saith Yahweh power, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon the slain that they may live. All right, and that's going into what? Jake waking up, man. You have to prophesy unto them to be able to wake them up, to tell them about these things, man. All right, now we'll read this as well too. Ezekiel 3 and what is it? Ezekiel 3 and 17, I think it is, about give them warning from me. All right, let's see if we can find that. Ezekiel. Ezekiel 3 and 17. Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. So the point there is being a watchman. All right. It says, therefore hear the word of my mouth and give them warning from me. So, hey, you got to go out there and prophesy so that they can live, so that they can what? They can hear the warning, they can get up and they can run, they can preserve themselves, man. All right, hey, man, we're now living in a hot time. You know, what is that in 2 Thessalonians that says that? You already know what it is out here. Oop. Nah. 1 Thessalonians tripping. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 1, it says, but of the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. All right, unexpected. But that's for those that aren't watching. You have people that are sitting out here right now, and let me rephrase that. You have people out here right now that's not in the spirit, that's not in the truth, that's not in any of these things, right? But even going back to that Psalm 64, but even they know that something is out here wrong. But hey, bro, we might be at the end of the world, bro. You know, I speak to people like that, you know, quite often. These Edomites and stuff like that. Maybe they're not Edomites, you know. They look like Edomites, and you know, they grew up in this here lifestyle or whatever. But even they'll tell you, bro, I don't know. This might be the hit. You know what I'm saying? Hey, even some of them that don't believe in the Lord, man, I don't know. We might be at the end of the world. Earthquakes and shit might pop off, the volcanoes. We might all be. They even know that something is wrong out here, man. All right. So how much more of you that's supposed to be in the spirit, that's supposed to be watching for all these prophecies coming to pass, man? Measuring the time. Hey, we know where Esau's at. He's about to fill his belly and everything else like that, man. Everybody should know, man. But if you don't know what's going on out here, hey, that's a sad case for you, man. You do have people that's out here walking in their bliss. All right, just living it up, man. All right, cognitive dissonance, man. All right, I don't want to know because I want to keep living in my own pride. I literally just was speaking with a relative over this here scenario like that, and I'm like, you still don't get it. You and your pride, you just think, hey, fuck that. I'm so self-centered around me. I gotta live my life, and I gotta be important. Nah, this world can't end without me getting my shit. The world can end when I die, but I gotta go and have everything that is supposed to be given to me. Like, but you wasn't allotted anything. What the fuck? Well, go ahead and go manifest your destiny and shit like that. But that's mad disrespectful to them people that's living in third world countries. That's poor as shit. They ain't got. Don't you think they be trying to manifest some food? And they fucked up. You over in Babylon the Great. You got it way better than them. But yet and still, you know, the pride of your heart thinking, nah, man, the world can't end. Fuck what they got going on over there in Russia. None of that. Nah, I'ma just look. I'm not accepting that in my life. I'm finna just go and do what I gotta go and do and just live it up. But see, that's the part of some of these people's hearts. But like the scripture say, hey, their eyes were hey, blessed are your eyes will see the things that you see. But if our gospel be hid, is hit to those that are lost, the ones that are blinded, man. So their eyes are sealed to overseeing these things, man. Walking right into their destruction. But the writing is on the wall, man. At the end, it's gonna speak and not lie. Though with Terry, here we are right now. All the prophecies are speaking loud and clear, man. The writing is on the wall, man. All right, you actually see these things taking place. You see how this how you say the foundations of everything we've been telling you about is all being implemented now. All right, the systems for the MOTB, the tracking, tracing, and all these different things, man. The laws going forth to set these things up, man. Esau coming down with great wrath, categorizing you into these different groups and everything else like that. I forgot which time period it was. I think it was in the USSR or the Soviet Union, where was it Stalin? Might not have been Stalin. But anyway, one of their leaders basically, they gave them a free reign to do whatever they wanted to go do. Y'all go be free, go turn up. Y'all want to go be Moes, go be Moes. Do it to the fullest. You hate the government, go and protest the government. Y'all want to go do drugs, go do drugs. Y'all want to go do whatever you want to go. We pushing for y'all to go do whatever the hell y'all want to go and do. They allowed this to go on for 2 years, and you had these people running around the streets all proud. Yeah, we want to be Moes. Yeah, we want to go and do this. We're proud and proud. 2 years later, all these people allowed you to do was mark yourself, so it was easier to go and spot you, man, and get you people to fuck up out of there, man. All right, and thousands and thousands and millions of people actually died over there, man. All right, so hey, the same thing is coming out at this here point in time, man. The Lord is showing forth, hey, man, you got your quote unquote, they like to say you got free will, right? Hey, but it's all predestined at the end of the day. But from your perspective, hey, you got free will. The Lord is saying, look, you can repent and you can come back to me, or you can go out here and live it up and live your best life. Which choice are you gonna go out there and make? But don't be upset when you catch your judgment, man. The scriptures say, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. It's polluted. It's going to destroy you, even with the sword of destruction. You want to go walking hand in hand with this here place and living in alignment with this here place, because it's giving you all, it's feeding to your flesh. You're doing all the things that's pleasing into your flesh, and then you wondering why you're getting that same judgment therein, man. All right, so hey, you have to understand how these things are going, man. You have to sow into the spirit, man, to reap of the spirit, man. But you're sowing to the flesh, and you mad when you catch these judgments of the flesh, man. All right, going back, finish that. Thessalonians, no, 1 Thessalonians 5:1. It says, but at the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. Again, unexpected, damn it. Unexpected, right? It's going to come to you unexpected when you're not expecting it. Why is that? Because you're not watching. You're not preparing yourself for these things, man. All right? You have no idea that any of this stuff is coming. Just like going back to the pandemic. We was telling you about this here place being shut down. We're telling you about Arazi and departing from this here place mentally and spiritually. All right, and cutting off your worldly ties from this here place, man. All right, now the pandemic came, and there was another epidemic that came inside of the pandemic, man. Loneliness, depression, people killing themselves over these things, being at home alone and everything else like that, not having real friends and everything else like that, man. All right, but at the end all be all, guess what? The men of the Lord, they was happy. Shit, we ain't got to be around these motherfuckers no more. We ain't got to go do this. We ain't got to go do that. We can just sit and chill and just be amongst ourselves, man. That was a blessing, all right? But we was already prepared for that coming into this here truth, man. Like Peter said, we forsaken all right? You're going to be doing certain things. You're not going to be, this society is not going to so-called love you because you're not of this here world, man. So everybody's going to kick you off to the curb and everything else like that. So, hey, we already prepared for this, man. So we're not, in darkness over here. We're not going to get caught like a thief in the night because, why? We prophesy about all the Jacob's trouble, the MOTB, all these things that's coming upon the earth. So when we see it, we already prepared for these things, man. Yeah, we know the Jacob's trouble coming, but guess what? The Lord's going to deliver us up out of here, man. Whereas these other folks, they're going to be getting hit with Jacob's trouble, not even knowing what the hell is going on. All right, let's just say, for instance, you in wrestling, all right, you in a pin move, and they rolled you up real quick. Before you realize you even in a pin move and the referee counting, motherfuckers already at a 5 count. You was out at a 3 count. You didn't even realize you was being rolled up into a pin move, man. I didn't, using a wrestling analogy. I remember as a kid, I used to watch wrestling. You had the normal pin moves where you lay over somebody, you pin them that way, maybe lift their leg up or whatever. But then you have some, like the little cruiserweights, they would roll you up in like a little ball-looking thing, and you didn't even know what the fuck. You were like, damn, this nigga got me in a submission move. But, oh, no, my shoulders are both down on the mat. Now the referee's count, I didn't even realize. I thought this nigga had me in a leg lock the whole goddamn time. And now, who was that? They had a... Ric Flair in the figure 4 leg lock, right? Not to give too much in wrestling, but to give you this analogy of not knowing what the hell really going on, right? You looking at one thing and something else is hitting you. right? Ric Flair will put you in a figure four leg lock, right? Now, in that move, in that position, granted, it's all fake, right? So you're not really like, you could hurt somebody with the shit, but you're not really like putting nobody in pain. But it's all scripted. But nevertheless, as the viewer, you're watching it from this. Oh, Ric Flair got this guy in a figure four leg lock. He's fucking up his knees and shit like that. The guy's over there screaming. You know, you go back and watch any of these old Ric Flair scenarios where he's got the guy in a figure four leg lock and he screaming, I can't get out, can't get out. And the guy get tired of screaming in the pain and he lays down on his back. And then the referee just start counting because his shoulders are down. So technically, this nigga's covering you and your shoulders are down. Now the guy's again acting out. He's screaming in agony and pain from the leg lock. He ain't even thinking about this nigga getting. He's about to get counted out. So you the champion, you in the figure four leg lock. You think this nigga got you in a leg bar or some shit, hurting because of that. Meanwhile, the referee done counted you the fuck out, and you over here thinking the only way I can lose from this position is if I tap out from a submission. You thinking just don't tap, just don't tap. Meanwhile, the ref done counted you out of 3 count. You don't even really know it. So you got caught like a thief in the night because why? You wasn't educated enough to know what the hell's going on. Like, look, bro, I can't be on the mat with my both shoulders down and this guy somewhat on top of me. You know, if he's on top of you in any kind of way, you know, they got different pins where somebody maybe put their foot on your chest, right? You're not really laying on top, but hey, you technically on top of them. Now we got to count this nigga out, man. All right. But hey, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices of these distractions and things like that. We're not going to get caught like a thief in the night because, hey, well, let's just finish reading because it goes into it all. 1 Thessalonians 5:1, it says, but at the times and the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. Unexpected, man. All right. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. All right. So, hey, when you should say peace and safety, all right, then all of a sudden destruction cometh upon you, man. In order for you to say peace and safety, you got to be in a chaotic state. This goes back into what they call a Hegelian dialectic. All right, problem, reaction, solution. All right, order out of chaos. This is where they get that from, man. All right, they're going to be able to say peace and safety to calm you down. Oh, we got it. But they have to create the turmoil first to get you up out of these here scenarios, man. All right, but hey, we know and we understand these things. So look, we're not going to get caught like a thief tonight because we're preparing for what Esau's about to do. For instance, we know for the MOTB, he's got to have an economic collapse, right? So we're not going to get caught like in the off guard with an economic collapse. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Esau come out with a solution, and we walk right into it, man. All right, well, we already know what he got going on. He's going to bring out this chip to stabilize all this here stuff, man. So when they shall say peace and safety, this is how we stabilize everything. Then come what? Sudden destruction. Man, Lord's will, we make it to the end. We endure to the end. You know, and, you know, if we hear at that point in time, the fact of the matter that, hey, man, they bring out this here chip, we're going to be faithful unto death, man. With the Lord, man. Hey, fuck all that, man. We're not taking that to the end because we know what's right around the corner. You have some people we don't know. It's just how things go in technology and everything. Where you gonna die? You know, going back in time. You know, when we had gold and shit. Now they said let's get rid of the gold and let's get money. And you want to just hold out because you think this is the end of the world? No, they just changed the monetary system. They always do this shit, nigga. You want to hold out and keep all your gold and everything. They don't even want your gold no more. Your gold worthless. Now you broke out here, or you got your money up under the mattress and everything else like that. And you go into a digital. It's got to be a debit or a credit card. Oh, I ain't doing a debit or a credit card. All right, well then you just so-called die. No, this is completely different, man. This is what was prophesied. This is the end all be all. What Esau wants is to put that chip inside of you, man. So we know, hey, we're not gonna get caught like a thief in the night. We know that, hey, when he's about to fill his belly, like the scripture also say, there's gonna be great time trials. Let's read it. Matthew 24 and 21 and 22. Matthew 24. Damn, did I really lose that page? Oh, here we go, here we go. It's funny now because this page is just one page now. Anyway, Matthew 24, verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no nor ever shall be. So again, creating that state of confusion, all right, that chaotic state. This is what Esau does. He brings in, he goes and destabilizes. Look what he do to the Middle East or in war. He goes over there to destabilize. Look at what they do in the Ukraine, man. Destabilizing the place, bankrupting the place, putting it in a state of chaos to where there's no return. And the only thing to do at that point in time is, hey, take our hand and let us help you out. Take our hand and get you up out of here. Give me 1 second. Anyway, take our hand and get us up out of here, man. This is the only, this is what, you know, the state that they putting them into, man. All right, the problem, reaction, solution. The same thing that they're doing over here, destabilizing every damn thing. all right, running up the what they call the interest rates or inflation, running up inflation, interest rates, you devaluing your money and everything else like that. You can't afford anything. So guess what? When you're on the brink and everybody's on debt, and that's why they have bankruptcy, man. You so far in the debt, the only thing that you can do is, all right, let's just go ahead and file for bankruptcy, get rid of some of this here stuff before it take us all the way down. You're at that collapse point. It's like, look, hey, even with some credit cards, nigga, you $50,000 in the credit card debt. We keep calling you. Can you pay anything on this, and we'll just settle at that? We'll take $250 and we can just settle on that because, hey, bro, at this point, we ain't getting nothing back. $250 is worth. You get put into that position, and guess what's gonna happen, man? You're gonna fall right here for it, man. You're gonna fall right into the chip, man. All right. Going back, Matthew 24, verse 22. And except those days shall be shortened, there shall be no flesh saved, but for the elect's sake, those days should be shortened. Hey, for the elect's sake, man, when it comes time for this charagma, all right, the MOTB, all right, you're not going to be able to buy or sell, save he that have the chip. So what? Let's just say Esau had this chip going out 3, 4, 5 years in a play, 10 years in a play, because, you know, once the system go up, you may have a time frame before they finally phase everything out. Hell, we might be in that time phase right now. But nevertheless, you know, with the pandemic where they're phasing out actual currency, like actual physical money, right? So they know that you ain't got no more money left. Everything is digital at that point. But nevertheless, let's just say hypothetically, Lord's will, this is not like that. But hypothetically, they got the chip out, and 10 years go forward, man. If it wouldn't be for the Lord, you know, feeding the elect, which he could do, all right, then there would be no flesh saved. They would just all starve to death because now they all homeless, can't get homes, can't go buy, can't go sell, can't do anything. They just rotted out. They just starved to death, man. And the whole world is against them, you know, they just starved to death. That's what's going, you know, if time was to keep going on, like the scripture say, hey, there would be no flesh saved, but for the elect's sake, the time's going to be shortened. So the Lord's going to come in and take this syrup out of there, man. So you can't have in your mind, say, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to, how, you going to have faith, man. We know the Lord's not going to leave us out here suffering like that, man. The Lord's going to feed us right on time, right in time, man. All right, when they was leaving up out of Egypt, granted, they didn't have that far to actually go, but in the scenario that the Lord had them in, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, he got us out here, but then, oh, fuck, we about to go out here. They actually murmured about this. At least in Egypt, we had fish, right? But we about to go out here on this here journey. Now, again, it wouldn't have took them that long. But even over, 3 days, you still going to want something to eat. But, you know, they did ask for food. Well, let's just use that as a hypothetical. They would just, all right, if we go, what are we going to eat out here, man? We planning on all these different things. Oh, the Lord and forgot that he finna have us out here for 40 years and not eat. What kind of, even though he was trying to kill them all off, but using it as a hypothetical, right? The Lord even gave them manna from heaven. He fed them, well, not even say a hypothetical, because he actually fed them out there, right? The point I was trying to make was the Lord didn't have them planned out there. Even though he marched them to death and everything in a certain generation, there was a remnant and an elect that was saved, right? The Lord didn't just say, all right, I got a plan to get them up out of Egypt real quick without pre-planning for how to feed them, right? You know what I'm saying? Because if they eat in Egypt, all right, oh, well, this isn't it. Now, I'm not going to have them out there stranded where they out here struggling and shit like that to where they could say, at least in Egypt, we had fish. You know what I'm saying? Now, the Most High had the right to be like, well, niggas, I'm feeding you niggas right now. But let's say if the Most High didn't feed them and they're actually starving, he's like, look, I done saved y'all, but I didn't think about feeding y'all. You know what I'm saying? Then the people would be like, hey, we would have been better off over here. You got us with a half a plan. But we know, according to the scriptures, all right, hey, the scriptures speak about that in hunger and death. You're gonna laugh at all that stuff. Famine. You're going to laugh at all these things because, wow, the Lord's going to provide, man. We have plenty of stories about these things that's going forth. So we know in this point in time that's coming up, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We ain't going to be able to buy or sell. Hey, we're going to have faith in the Lord, man. This is why we're not going to get caught as a thief in the night because we're expecting all these things. We know what Esau's planning. We know what he's pushing, man. So, hey, even at that, hey, you know, when the pandemic came around, they started cutting jobs and things like that, man. Hey, you know, even though that we wasn't necessarily prophecy-wise ready for the end all to come at that point in time, you know what I'm saying? Hey, we had the mindset, well, if we lose our job, the Lord will provide for us, man. Well, the Lord will either give us another job, the Lord will bring somebody in our life to feed us day in and day out, we'll be good, right? You might have just lost your job, and the Most High might have sent you an old lady that want to be a sugar mama to you at that point in time. Oh, you can come eat over here, we'll feed you, we'll do this, and we'll do all that for the time being, man. All right? Or could have lost a job and somebody else needed you to fill in for, hey, bro, I can't offer you no long-term job, but for this project, bro, I'll pay you for this, I'll pay you for that. Or I'll pay you to do this little brake job or this engine swap for me, whatever, man. And the Lord will provide for you and throughout all things. That's what we're going to do, man. This is the patience and the faith of the saints, man. We're going to depend on the Lord the whole time, man. All right? This is what we've been, programming ourselves to do. And the Lord's been bringing us through the trials and the tribulations for this here point in this here period of time, man. All right? All these things that we've been going, hey, like the scripture say, look back at our forefathers and see whoever called on the name of the Lord and he didn't save, you know, roughly paraphrasing, man. So we know that, hey, we're not going to get caught like a thief in the night. We're over here watching, all right, what's going on, measure the times diligently, listening and hearkening to what the Lord is saying via the mouths of the prophets, man. All right, measuring and looking at the signs of the writings on the wall, all right, and continuing to have faith out here, man. Storing up our riches in heavenly things, not on the earthly things, man. Not following after the flesh out here, man. All right, but nevertheless, going into these things, man, we see, and taking heed into the words of the prophets and not just letting these things go over our head. All right, because like I said, just going back and measuring the times from when we first started telling you these things and you were laughing, you were scoffing at us. Now, look, Isaiah 30 and 33 is coming into play. And then they're going to know that a prophet had been among them. A lot of people now stop scoffing. A lot of people now are like, hey, y'all might have been right about this, man. I've known people who've known me personally, relatives and stuff like that, and friends of the family and things like that, known personally, like, seen me come into this here thing, change up and everything else like that, hearing about what I'm preaching about, laughing and scoffing about the UFOs and things like that, till calling you back years later, hey, what's going on with this? What's going on with that? Boy, they seen this, they didn't seen that. What do we do? What is that supposed to mean? Can you show me that in the Bible? Now they actually truly inquiring, man. All right? Hey, and in reality, a lot of those types of things is actually making more believers, out of these people. Yeah, we believe without even seeing. Some of us that came into this here truth before a lot of these prophecies started popping off the page like they are now, and we believe without seeing, man. All right, before that, when I found out about the truth, this was before Russia was in the state that they in now, as developing weapons and shit like that, and going to war and energy supplier to Europe and shit like that, man. Before they had the BRICS and all these different things, before they was a major player, they was a fucking third world country when I found out about the truth, man. Thinking about they gonna go to war with somebody, like, nigga, that's like fighting Cuba in the war. Yeah, they big as hell, but they so corrupt over there, like, that's not a formidable foe, man. Just because they got big in size don't mean nothing. Just like China at that point in time, yeah, they got like the most people in their military, but they don't have the equipment to fight America because they had to get from China to America. They at that point in time only had one aircraft carrier, right? So how the fuck they gonna get their planes over here to bomb us? They had to refuel. You see what I'm saying? They didn't have the even though they had the army, they didn't have the real resources to do all these things. But now look at these people nowadays, man. Look at where they all at nowadays. So, hey, we believed before we even seen all these things coming to pass. We believed before we seen half this technology, because technology has really increased over the last 5 years, man. With AI, deep fakes, all right, smaller technology, nanotechnology, all right, all this here stuff, man. This we didn't have this 5-10 years ago, man. Where you be seeing certain things like, I don't know if that's real or if it's fake or what's going on with this here type of technology, man. Your iPhones, man. Think about the iPhone 5-10 years ago and the quality that it had, man, the camera quality and all these different things compared to what you have nowadays, man. All right, look at all these different things, the facial recognition, the fingerprints, and all these different things and stuff like that. We didn't have this technology back then, but now we have it, flourishing nowadays, man. Where the everyday average person now has AI capability to do some AI deep fakes, voice changing, all these different things like that, man. Back in the days, you had to pay a lot of money for that type of technology, man. So we see ourselves how we're progressing all extra fast, especially in the truth. So, hey, those were those that believe without seeing. Now you have those that are coming to the truth because they see these things coming to pass, and now they want to believe, man. Oh, shit, y'all was talking about Babylon the Great falling and the pandemic, or circling the drain, the grinding cease, and Babylon. Now they starting to see it, man. Y'all talking about the Charagma. Now we starting to see it, man. Talking about the chariots. That's another huge one. Was the chariots, man. Oh, y'all. Because everybody laughed and scoffed at us about those things, man. But see, and this is also a testimony on how, hey, keep the faith. All right. Let not the incredulity. Let's read that in 2 Ezra 15. Salakia. Let me grab, where's my apocrypha? Second Ezra, was it 15 and 1? Yeah, 2 Ezra 15 and 1, it says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. Give me 1 second. You grab me a quick little drink. Give me a second. All right. 2 Ezra 15 and 1, it says, All right. 2 Ezra 15 and 1 says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth. So these aren't our words. These are the words that the Lord put into our mouth, right? And not just, you got a lot of people that's out there that's spending a lot of their time banging on other Israelites that know that they Israelites. Oh, y'all doing this and y'all doing that, blah, blah, blah. I mean, that's a little bit of calling them out, but is that all you doing, man? What about prophesying, man? Because you just going back and forth, gang banging on people that say that they're Israelites and everything. Hey, they got a role to play too, man. All right, you're going to have these, how they call false apostles, false leaders, right? They have a role to play as well, too. And you just focusing on that. But what about prophecy? We read earlier how the spirit of prophecy is the spirit of Yahushua. So you have, hey, man, let's talk about prophecy, man. All right, because, hey, just gang banging on other Israelites, other camps, other people that you know in the truth, it's not going to save you from, not to say anything can save you like that in that sense, but it's not going to prepare you from noticing the MOTB, right? You know all about all these other camps, who they are, what their names are, what they believe, and all these different things, and how to gang bang and watch all their videos and critique them. Meanwhile, the MOTB is being presented right in your face, and you can't even identify that. But you can identify these other groups and the shit that they got going on, these other people, and nitpicking. You watch all their videos just to nitpick the things that they saying. Meanwhile, you have no idea what's really going on around the corner, man. I've seen people like that really spend all this time on all this, but when it comes to prophecy and things coming in the past, like, you're giving Esau too much credit. Esau ain't got time to do this. Esau ain't gonna do all those things. Look at where we at right now. All the things that you said, it's all actually right here. You were more focused on putting a magnifying glass up, you know what I'm saying? And like the scripture say, hey, you can discern these things, but how does it say that? You strain at a net, basically. You know what I'm saying? You looking at this, but this shit that you got in your own face, you can't even see it, right? But this is why I say, man, prophecy is the most important thing that's out here. All the other stuff, yeah, you can go back and forth. That's a subtopic, man. Prophecy, man, because that's going to let us know when we're getting up out of here. And also build your faith, man. Because you could be in this here truth and learn all these different things, the depressing things about women and how, your wife going to be a harlot in the streets and all these different things. You'd be depressed about it. But if you can't measure the time diligently and be like, hey, we're going to be like this forever until I die. Nah, man. What's going to give you a faith boost is like, look, man, in our lifetime, the Lord's going to come back and redeem us. In our lifetime, all these things is going to come to an end. That should give you your faith boost and keep you pushing forward, man. All right? So, hey, prophecy is way more important than all these other things, man. All right? And people spend their time harping on other things and speaking little about prophecy, man. All right? Talking about this and talking about that. And I'm like, look, man, let the Lord set these guys out. If the guys ain't doing what they're supposed to be doing, let the Lord take care of them, man. All right? Because you don't even know what the Lord using them for or these other things. But we see that what you're missing, what was you placed here for? Was you placed here to prophesy, or was you placed here just to get on these guys out here, man? We got people like that nigga name, I forgot his name now, but anyway, you got a couple of these goddamn people that be going out there doing this shit. But again, they're irrelevant. They're like, I'm not finna sit here and just watch them back and forth with you. You wrong anyway, but that's your job to sit here and go do all these things, vocab Malones and polites and shit like that, man. All right, yeah, that's your job to go and do all these different things just to come up against you, man. And speaking of, I seen something, I didn't watch it, but I seen something come up on, not Sinetta, what's the nigga name? Polite. Hey, the fact that him calling, the men at GMS pedophiles and everything else like that and getting that spirit put out in the world, just for him to get locked up for those types of things and everything else like that. Like, hey, man, don't really sweat this guy, man. This is his role to be doing all these things. And so, look, that could actually be working towards the betterment of the word of or the men of the Lord, man. All right, bringing brothers in. Because you might have had brothers that sat there and watched and scoffed, oh yeah, them GMS guys are all pedophiles and this and that. And they ain't had no common sense to be like, well, why don't y'all hate the fuck out of these guys? Y'all want them off the highways and the byways, call the police on them and give you a victim, they'll be off the block right then and there, man. You ain't even got to worry about it, man. But because you lying, you don't have no victims. You can't call the police on them. You can call the police on them, but you ain't got no evidence, so they ain't going nowhere, right? That's why they still out on the highways and the byways, right? But then with Polite, it wasn't the men of the Lord that exposed his ass with his baby mama or old lady's little girl. Some other kind of the spirit exposed his ass, man. And it's like, well, okay, now you got, like, boom. But guess what? You might have had people that was watching him, that was faithfully watching him and believing in the shit that he was saying, heard the slander that he said against the men of the Lord, and guess what? Now they over a second question, like, maybe, wait a minute, he might have been projected. Maybe the whole time he was wrong. Let me go back and see why he was trying to cover up. It's trying to stop me from listening to these guys, right? This is what these agents do. Let me stop you from listening to these guys over here, man. All right, hey, that's one of the things you have to look for, man. They trying to stop something else from going. There's people that you may not get along with or may not be going down with, but I'm not trying to stop you from listening to them. Hey, you can go listen and they'll teach you this and they'll teach you that, but hey, also be aware of certain things that they may do. I know some relatives that throughout the whole Kanye and the Kyrie situation, all right, came across IUIC. Now, I'm not pushing a pro IUIC on anything, right? But at the end all be all, you just freshly coming into this here truth, go ahead and watch it, right? And pick up, the little basic foundations. GMS is too much for you to, You know, they say milk and the meat. GMS too much for you to swallow at the point in time. Go ahead and listen to IUIC in the beginning. When you get tired of listening to that, then we can graduate you up to somewhere else, man. You know, I started out like that. You know, the first time, well, I seen the Apostles first. And that was just way too much for me at that point in time on day one, right? Cussing and everything else like that. I ain't know no better. Then seeing IUIC a little bit more calmer, getting the foundations. Okay, we Israelites, we this, we that. It's all about the Bible and everything else like that. Then when you can't eat no more, you move to the next level, man. All right, but you know, you don't see the fact of the matter now. You do hear about the, you know, the guys and the different camps, you know, from GMS, let's just say, right, that'll so-called correct these guys on what they're doing and everything else like that, instead of slandering their names, like not really for the slandering of these people's names and everything else like that, man, because hey, you never know what the Lord going to use these guys for, man, all right, or where they're going to be at, man. Whether you look at them as nothing now, maybe later on the Lord might raise them up, or somebody that you look at is on top right now, the Lord may abase that person, man. So you just don't know, man. Hey, I would just focus on doing the work, man. All right, all these dealing in these different people and the characters and everything. That's, hey, let's just do the work, man. All right, but let's go ahead and read this again in 2 Ezra 15. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. And they've already been written in paper, you know, in a prior time, and we have those in the scriptures. But guess what? In our modern day times, right? Habakkuk 2 says, let's see if we can get that. I think that's ripped up, but that particular verse. I got a little bit of it, and I know what it says, so we'll read it. Habakkuk 2:1. It says, I will stand upon my watch, and will set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say, and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision, and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. So, hey, it says, make it plain upon tables, right? You know, the tables of stone, right? Or what, like a tablet. It's funny they use the word table, right? As the little tablets of stone. You know, like they say, well, Moses got the 10 Commandments written on the tablets, right? The tables of stone, more or less to say. Hey, back in the olden days, they wrote things down like Moses and them on a stone. And later on in life, they put it on in paper. You know, we're reading the Bible written out of, you know, they put it on like hides and stuff. But modern day times, we got it written in paper. But even the most modern day time, right? Because you have some people that are learning, you know, students, not everybody's a prophet. But you have some of those that are learning, right? And as they're learning, they're, you know, they're online watching the videos based off of what? Their phones or their tablets, right? These little small tablets and things like that. Caused to be written in you know, in the paper, right? Instead of writing it on paper, now we're writing these epistles in what? Videos, right? Video messaging and things like that. Damn. We're writing this all in video messaging, man. All right, and putting it up on the internet. Now with the internet, yeah, they can take down our videos and things like that, but hey, other people can download those videos, re-upload those videos. That let's just say that spirit or that saying goes out into, you know, into the world. Somebody else may see your video and do a video off of that video, or was inspired by that video, and this just keep going on and going on. Hey, a video you may have done way back in the past may have sparked the seed inside somebody else and brought them forth to start prophesying, and all that started off with just this, right? And hey, so you know, this is being you know, to speak thou in the words of the ears of my people, the words of prophecy, and causing them to be written in paper, all right, because they are faithful and true. Well, we ain't gotten there yet, but this is what we're doing modern days nowadays, man. Writing these video epistles, man, putting these things here out so people can watch them, they can listen, they can learn. And like I said, some of those that are, you know, a lot of these people are just students and things like that, are just coming into it, and you're in the very beginning, and you're just in the listening phase. You're just listening instead of following along in the scriptures, what you should be doing. But I understand it's a progression that you have to go through. You know, I remember in the very beginning, I used to just listen in the very beginning. There was just so much information that I couldn't maintain all the information, and then inevitably I just got a notepad and started writing down scriptures. Where was that scripture at when they was talking about this? And so I made, you know, not columns, but categories of what these things was all about. Wrote down my scriptures and everything else like that. When I wanted to learn about something, go back and read these things, man. So, hey, the video epistles are just as much as being caused and written down in paper. We're not saying anything new. We're just going into the same things that's already in the scriptures, man. Breaking, just like in the old, in the scriptures, you got prophets that prophesy about the same thing in two different places, man. Like, let's say, for instance, what is that? Jeremiah and John, right? Jeremiah 50, Jeremiah 51 speaks about the same thing as in Revelation 17, Revelation 18, very similar. In fact, where's that at? In Jeremiah, they talk about thou that dwells in the clefts of the rock. All right, the pride of thy heart has deceived thee. All right, thou that doest in the clefts of the rock. Hey, Obadiah wrote and said the same thing, right? Talk about all these same things that's going on and going on. So hey, you have this different guys reading and writing about this, like saying basically the same thing, right? Or saying it a little different, but it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I read how the Lord, well, that's for the pillar of fire and a cloud by day, but you know, speaking about a whirlwind, let's just say they're speaking about Elisha and Elijah, and Elijah got taken up by a whirlwind, or Elijah got taken up by a chariot. Hey, you use two different words, but it's talking about the same thing, man. Two different people are speaking about the same thing. So you have the same thing going out nowadays, man, where you have the prophets that are on the highways and the byways now uploading these here videos and letting you know about these things, man, prophesying to you on these videos. But guess what? They're saying the same thing that's already in the scriptures, man. That's why he said, I will put my words into thy mouth. It's not our own words, what we think is going on and what we blah, blah, blah. Nah, man. We would have been wrong and canceled a long time ago. Oh, I think this is because a lot of this stuff, you know, when you first come into it, before you get that, you know, you got to have that soul belief, right? But before you get all that, I don't know about this, I don't really see this happening and everything else like that. But hey, now you start seeing, like, you might come into the truth and following and believing about a lot of these things. You know, you're a real baby in this, right? Then it comes to the chariots and you be like, I don't know if I believe in UFOs and aliens and shit like that. You may be at that at the very beginning, but at the end, you know, hey, now you come into that fold. Yeah, I see it now. I definitely see it now, man. All right, but you have to have the foundations of these things put inside of you, man. The Lord has to open up your eyes to see these things, man. All right, because if not, you know, people see this and read this all day long. They don't have no understanding. There's no spirit inside of them to do these things, man. All right, let's go back to this here. 2nd Ezra 15. All right, 2nd Ezra 15 and 1. It says, Behold, speak down the ears of my people the words of prophecy which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. All right, if it says, Fear not the imagination against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. And I was reading that to get to that there point, because you could be out here on the highways and the byways prophesying, telling your friends, family, and relatives about all these things, and they're looking at you a certain type of way. All right, but yet and still, hey, hold fast to that. And I know I can tell you this from my own testimony. Hey, stand firm in what you believe in, man. Because in the end, you know, these people that you so-called lost or whatever, they may turn back and look. He's still on that, man. And it looked like he's profitable versus what we over here doing. Or now they got questions. Like I said, when the pandemic came, guess what? Our phones started ringing again. Oh, what's going on with this? What's going on with that? And people are looking around. You know, I have a couple people in my family nowadays that, hey, because of the fact that I just stood firm in what I believe, even after the little breakup and everything else like that, they just circle back on the road. Well, what's this talking about? What's that talking about? Where can I find an apocrypha from? Where can I get this? What's the name? What's the language? What's all these different things? Because they know that you was in this here truth, and they realize, hey, they walked away from you because of what you believe in. But now, they, you know, you holding firm to that. Now they doubling back. So hey, man, you know, then they shall know that a prophet have been among them. All right, this plays out in multiple different ways, man. But you have to, I guess scripture say, make your calling and election sure, man. Hey, the Lord called you to this. The Lord didn't necessarily call them to this here scenario. So, hey, you got to do what you got to do out here, man. All right, you have to sit here and how do I say, be mindful of the times that we're living in, man. All right, and looking at the things that's going on around us. All right. What's funny was I wanted to bring out this other precept real quick on, well, I wanted to start out with this, and speaking in these times, you know, speaking on these different channels and everything else like that. I was going to go into this, but I'm going to go ahead and close out here shortly because I don't want this to fuck up. I've been having some issues with this going too long. But anyway, wanting to go into this, these wars and the rumors of wars, but the end is not yet. Going back into the prophecy, man. Why prophecy is so important. All right, Lord's will, I'll probably just do a video on this, but you know, you have the scenarios with Ukraine trying to get up into NATO, and we all know what will happen with that, man. Article 5, World War III. All right, Kosovo and Serbia. All right, all these things is being talked about right about now, but the scriptures say the end is not yet. All right, so hey, we're gonna keep our eyes on these things, keep our eyes on prophecies. We're gonna keep watching, man. All right, and Lord's will and the elect was edified with this here lesson. Until next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushua, Bahashim Kakodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that taught us this truth and never will. And salutation and much love for you, I can push this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth. Until next time, I say, stay strong. Shalom.